Muted.
Okay, good morning and welcome to Camp Business Solutions. This is session 1, and what we're going to talk about today is the employee benefit process, how to build your list, and some new tools that we have available. Today, your camp trainer is me, Cheryl Bloom Garcia. So welcome everybody. What our purpose is for the camp sessions is to share best practices. What we look at as a time frame is 30 minutes of training, 15 minutes for Q&A. As we start going through the sequence of training, what we want to do is at the end, like today we won't do that, but next week and the following weeks, we want to hear from the field. We want to hear success stories, how you have used some of our training that we have went through and what has happened for that. So each week we'll review what we did the following week. We'll do our training, we'll do our Q&A, and then we'll also have time for you to share success of what you did by using that training. So your trainers are me and Mindy, Doris, and Susan. Here's the sequence of the camp session. So today, of course, we're going through the employee benefits. Next week, Doris will be going over making the calls, inviting HR directors and small business owners, because as you can see on the schedule the following Thursday, we have a B2B breakfast in Lakewood on Thursday morning. So we won't have a webinar because we'll see all of you at the breakfast with guests. Also, Doris next week will be going over tips on the small business plan. Then in July 7th, we'll go through the decision maker meetings, tips on that. The 14th will be in Oklahoma. When we get back from Oklahoma, we'll go through the conference tips. So all of us will be giving tips from the employee benefits, the small business, and the CDLP. On the 28th, we're going to talk about enrollment and tips for your success. On August 4th, we're going to talk about retention for all parts of your business. On the 11th, August 11th, we're going to start talking about benefit fairs and how to do lunch and learns and how does that work. And then on the 18th, we'll talk about doing employee benefits without doing employee benefits. And then on August 25th, we're going to talk about how to get ready for open enrollment season, which will be just kicking off in September and October. So today what we're going to talk about is the employee benefit marketing process. And there's really 4 steps to employee benefit marketing. You know, and one of the things that we really want to do is we want to keep things as simple as possible. So step 1 in any type of business, whether you're opening up a donut shop, a coffee shop, I almost said a record shop. What's that? Any kind of store, any kind of business, is we need to develop your marketing list. And so we want to look at going first to your warm market because you'll have much more success there. Then we want to be looking at who is the decision maker. Who's the decision maker in that company or that employer? And we want to focus on 10 to 50 employees. We need to bring it back to own your zone. Own your zone. And so 10 to 50 employees within, let's say 1, 5, 10-mile radius of where you live. Step 2, of course, is making the calls. And so in making the calls, we've set up the training, so we'll be going through all these different types of steps with you. So making the calls we'll do next week. The goal, if you haven't been doing group, is to really set 5 appointments with your field trainer in the first week after you have completed your B2B training. And the second week is to make 10 appointments with your field trainer. Once again, we want to qualify your calls because we want to be working with the decision maker and we want to be working with companies that have 10 to 50 employees. Then step 3 is we go to the decision maker appointment with your field trainer, and basically your goal there is to introduce your field trainer. And then you have a little zipper on your mouth. So your field trainer, whoever you take with you, will then be doing the decision maker appointment for you. Step 4 is the enrollment with your field trainer. So what's nice about this is you're learning and earning at the same time. So you'll be doing the enrollment with your field trainer. They will actually be doing the enrollment, and you will be learning how to do that. Now you can do that as many times as you want. I know when I first started, even though I was teaching classes and doing workshops, I had this block in my brain about doing enrollments, and I was working with Joy Aiden, and I'm like, no, you go ahead and do it. So we did several enrollments together. So whenever you feel comfortable with that. Now, people that are working full-time, steps 1 through 4 are things that you can do, and you can have somebody do those for you and still get commissions, counters, and performance clubs. So we'll go through that later in another training. But if you are interested in that sooner than later, give me a call and we can go through how that works. And then, of course, number 5 is so important to everyone's book of business, is retention. And we want to look at retention throughout your process. So MOS, Member Advantage Services. Now, when you sign up, your Member Advantage Services outside of the group is automatic, and it's free. We used to have to pay for that. Now, on the group, when you do your authorization card, your yellow card, make sure that you check MOS. It's still an option. So you still want to make sure that you check that MOS box so that everyone is getting that Member Advantage Services. And we want to give a temporary membership kit to all new members, whether in a group or a non-group. We have to take a service that's non-tangible and make it tangible, especially in a group setting where they're walking away with a folder, number 1, that has Legal Shield on front of it, brand awareness. They take it home and say, hey, honey, I signed up for this legal benefit. We can now get our wills done. Isn't that exciting? And they can show the will questionnaires. Versus not having a temporary membership kit and going home and saying, hey, I signed up for this legal benefit. Here's my pink copy, and there's not really anything else to show for it. So it's so important for your retention to make sure that they have a temporary membership kit. And then, of course, we always want to present the product correctly. Whether you have 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, we want to make sure that we under-promise and over-deliver. Let the law firm over-deliver for us. And then what is your follow-up system for your members, which now we have Prospect by Legal Shield, where you can put in new members for that. So we'll be going to that. Now, types of groups. Okay, so we used to have 2 different color cards. We just have 1 card right now, which is called the authorization card or the yellow card. And guess why it's called yellow card? Because it's yellow. All right, so we have 2 ways that we can sign up groups or employers. Let's talk about employers, because a nonprofit can be an employer. They can't get the small biz plan, but they sure can sign up for the employee benefit. The Jeffco Action Center is one of my best groups that I have, and they're a nonprofit here in Lakewood. So you can sign up a company or an employer as a payroll deduction, so that's going to come out of their paycheck, or you can sign up what I call a discount program, which is a bank draft, is really how we refer to it as associates, as a bank draft, which we use a universal application. And I think people leave money on the table by not going down that road of a discount program and saying, you know, because sometimes there's situations where a company says, we're just rolling out a new payroll, we don't want our payroll person, especially when you're doing 10 to 50 employees, that payroll person does many things besides payroll. And they say, I just can't do one more thing. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's do the discount program where your employees will pay through their own checking account or credit card. Now, in both situations, we have to have 5 Social Security numbers to open up that group. Now, if the company or the employer decides to fringe, which means they're going to pay for the benefit, then you need to have 3 employees for that. Now, let's talk about keeping your pipeline hot. All right, if you're full-time and you're doing employee benefits, you need to have 250 people, 250 contacts on your list at all time. So after today, our goal is that you have 20 new contacts after our training. And then, of course, you go through the training or go through the contacts, and then you're going to refine your contacts. And again, we want to make appointments with decision makers, not employees that work there. Now, sometimes that may be a strategy if it's your neighbor or it's somebody that you know. Like yesterday, I was meeting with an associate, and she said, well, my neighbor, who's one of my best friends, works at a hospital. I said, great. Go meet with that person. Go over the plan, because then when you call the decision maker, you can say one of your employees either already has it because they signed up or is very interested in this. It gives you a great warm introduction to that benefit. And again, we need to focus on companies that are 20 to 50 employees. And we're going to be launching a campaign called Own Your Zone. Own Your Zone is, again, what are all the companies around where you live, around where you work? Let's be focusing on your zone. So today we're going to develop 3 lists. So if you have some paper, hopefully all of you have some paper, because, you know, this is, well, unless you're driving, right? I guess you could be on the audio. So let's go ahead, and you're going to need 3 pieces of paper right now. At the top of each piece of paper, put 20 to 50. The second one, 50 to 100. And the third will be plus 100 employees. Now, why we want to divide them into that is because we know that 20 to 50, you get right to the decision maker. The 50 to 100, sometimes you get right to the decision maker. They don't usually, they might start having HR and an attorney, but those 2 first groups also, you can do the small business plan. And once you get over 100 employees, they usually have resources for an attorney for the business. But also it becomes more complicated to roll it out, and that's why we want to stay simple, get those groups started, and make some money, okay? So then we'll talk about growing industries also. All right, so now you need another piece of paper. So we have those 3 pieces of papers with the different sizes of your employers. Now, on another piece of paper, this is going to be your contact map. So what I want you to do is make like a sun. So there's a circle in the middle of your paper, and you write you. And then out of that circle, you're going to put 6 lines. And at the end of that line, you'll put a little circle at the end of the line. So it looks like a sun that has little circles at the end of each ray. Each ray, put down friends in one circle, family in the second circle, community, hobbies, employment, and social. Okay, so we're going to be looking at those 6 areas of your life. So on the friends, for example, okay, so you have you in the middle, you have your friends there. All right, I want you to ask yourself this question. If you got a flat tire today on your way to an appointment, and you cannot call any of us on this call, you can't call your husband or your wife or your spouse, you cannot call AAA to come and help you, which friend would you call to come and help you change that flat tire? Okay, so just jot that down right on your map. All right, so let's say your friend's name is Jimmy. All right, so we write down Jimmy. Okay, so now we need to start thinking about, who does Jimmy know? So is Jimmy married? Does Jimmy have any brothers or sisters? Who's Jimmy's best friend? Who's Jimmy's parents? Who's somebody that you and Jimmy know together? So you're taking one person and you're expanding your list into all these different areas. So somebody that you and Jimmy both know is Sarah. Okay, so first with Jimmy, where does Jimmy work? Okay, now we're just brainstorming. Okay, so Jimmy works at ABC Company. ABC Company does landscaping, and they have 12 employees. Okay, Now you're going to transfer that onto that sheet that has 10 to 50 employees. And you're going to put Jimmy, ABC Company, 15 employees. Now we're our 12 employees. We're just brainstorming right now. We're just developing our list. Then you'll refine your list after you get done with that. Okay, so now we go to Sarah. Okay, so you and Jimmy both know Sarah. Where does Sarah work? Okay, same thing. Where does Sarah work? What company is it? How many employees is it? Put that on your list. Now you think about Sarah. Okay, now we're going to think about Sarah. Who is who's Sarah's best friend? Does Sarah have any brothers or sisters? Is Sarah married? Does Sarah have a boyfriend? Who's somebody that you and Sarah know together? So you start expanding your list. So that one person now becomes 6 more people. Those 6 people become 6 more people. So you do that with your friends. You do that with your family. You do that, just keep growing that list by people that you know. Now, many of you probably know Bob Berg, who wrote the book called Endless Referrals. And he said that we all know at least 250 people. We do. Each one of us know 250 people. So we just talked about Jimmy. We just talked about Sarah. That's another 500 people to add to your list, right? So you just kind of dig down a little bit and start looking at that. Now, the next circle that you have is community. Okay, what kinds of activities do you belong to in your community? Okay, do you do things at church? Do you volunteer? I volunteered at the Action Center. I mentioned them earlier. That's really how I got that group. I helped out with one of the biggest fundraisers that they had, and during that process, of course, I got to know the executive director. I got to know the CFO through that process. And after we were done with our fundraising event, I said, hey, Meg, I'd really like to sit down with you and Pam and go over Legal Shield. And she was like, well, I don't think our employees would like that. And I said, well, I just need 17 minutes of your time just to, give you the information. And out of a courtesy, because I'd spent endless hours on that fundraiser, I did get the meeting. And she was like, I can't even believe everything that this covers. And they were the first ones advocates for Legal Shield and ID Shield for that. So what kinds of things are you involved in your community that you can go and touch base with them? Our goal is really to educate people about Legal Shield and ID Shield. That's really what we want to do, is we want to get them information so they can make a decision. Now let's look at your hobby. Now it's kind of interesting sometimes because hobbies, I want you to think of your hobby as an industry. Okay, so let's say your hobby is golfing. Okay, and I'm not a golfer, so some of you that golf, you'll be able to expand this a lot more than I will. But think about golfing as an industry. Okay, so there's the golf club, right? Is that a city club? Is that a private club? Where do you buy your clubs? Where do they get those old golf carts? That's probably from another company. Who maintains those golf carts? Who runs their tournaments there? Who are the vendors that they buy from, whether it's clothing, equipment, food? Who are the contractors that they have? Who comes to that club? Maybe you're part of that golf club. Who are all the other members of that golf club? Is there a way that the golf club offers any kind of lunch and learns? Do they offer any kind of member benefits that you could maybe get in and talk to the club about offering ID Shield or Legal Shield to the members? So think of your hobby as an industry. I know, because you know the language, you know all the different types of companies around that. And hey, it's your hobby, it's fun, right? So why not be working in industries that are fun? All right, and the next circle that you have is employment. Now this can be where you currently work, could be where you worked before, this could be where you and someone else worked together and then they went and worked somewhere else. So Lisa, for example, used to work with me at CCD. Well, I left CCD, then she left CCD, she went to another company. I then called Lisa and said, hey, who's the decision maker for your benefits? Got got in contact with them and opened that group. So it may be somebody that you used to work with somewhere else, but either one of you are now, or you have both went in different directions for that. Now, social, we can think of social as social media. We can think of social as people that we know. When I think of social, I think of, do your kids belong to a soccer club? Are they in a football club? What are things that you do socially? But also we have the social media part of it. So you can also go through and look at your friends and family on, through Facebook. So we're just really looking again at, oh, yeah, I never thought about that person. Just go to your friends and start looking through all your friends, because once again, we're developing your list, right? We're building your list. So writing down their names, and we're writing down where's our resource and where do they work at. So then once you have, when you're building your map, you will also then be wanting to transfer that to those 3 different pieces of paper. So we're always going to be building our list. So let's think about that list now as you develop it. There are some specific lists or industries that are going to be on your list that are what is called paid as earned. And that means that you're not going to get your 1-year advance commission. So these are some examples. I just want you to be aware of that. I had an associate just this week, was not aware of this, was like, where's all my money from my 10 people that got enrolled? And unfortunately, it fell into the assisted living facility. Therefore, it was paid as earned. So I want you to be aware of that. Now, let's look at other ways to build your list. What are some growth industries in where you live? Okay, we have national and local statistics, research your State Department labor market information. You can just go to Google and put in Colorado labor market information. It will bring up a website, and in that website you can search for the top 10 industries in Colorado. You can actually dig down and go into different industries, different companies in that industry. You can go to the business journal in your area, and you can find out, they always have the top 25 list. Now, in the top 25 list, that means we're going outside of our focus of 10 to 50, okay? But now, in the business journal, however, another way that you can do that, and contact your business journal, because you know what? They do classes on how to use the business journal for creating leads. So I went to one of those classes, and one of the things that you look for in there are what are companies that are being that they're honoring, that they're doing an article about, right, that they're doing very well. Now, if you get, like I just got my Denver Business Journal yesterday, and if I found a company in there, I'm not going to call them this week because we're going to get lots of calls. So I'm going to wait a couple weeks on that. I have a separate folder that I go, this company would be interesting. I put them in my folder so I can start doing some follow-ups after about 2 weeks for that. Another thing is you can look at your workforce centers, and the reason that you could call your workforce centers is you could ask them, who are the companies that are hiring right now? What are the top companies that are hiring? Because another one that you want, I don't have it on this list, but another way about growth industries is if you know anybody that sells promotional items, they sell pens, they sell Bronco schedules, who are their clients? If their clients are buying their employees jackets, T-shirts, they're doing an employee picnic, those are the companies that we want to get into because they're doing things for their employees. Each city or different cities, oops, I have a misspelling there, cities are economic development departments. Now, we have an economic development in Wheat Ridge. We also have an economic development for Jefferson County. So those are also great places because you can call them and ask them, what are some companies that are moving to our city? What are some companies that are moving to our county, so that you can find out some top industries that came off of the labor market information. As you can see, professional services, healthcare, social assistance, educational service, and waste management. Once again, once you get those titles, you need to drill down into that. And one of the things I didn't put on there was Reference USA. Reference USA, you can go to Reference USA drill down to that. And if you need instructions on how to use Reference USA, send me an email. I have a one-page Word document on how to use Reference USA. It's free. You need a library card, and you can create lists of within 1 mile, 5 miles, 10 miles within your home or your office. And so we also want to look at the corporate office is local, right? It's in Denver, it's in Colorado, it's in your area. Another resource is a Small Business Association, the SBA. So I went up to Fort Lupton 2 weeks ago and went to the chamber luncheon there and sat next to the new person that's in charge of the Small Business Administration, the SBA, for that. So they're in different cities. They're all throughout different parts of the state. So that's actually a good resource for businesses, because we're a resource for all of their clients that work in for small, with the Small Business Administration. All right, so here's own your zone, everybody. We want you to own your zone. Okay, so what does that mean? That means everything around you. When you're driving in your neighborhood, when you're driving to an appointment, let's start being more aware of, I've started taking pictures of trucks and, well, mostly trucks. I wouldn't say cars, because mostly trucks that have, they have, plumbing company on there. They have, and, they're like in my neighborhood. They're in my zone, right? So where do you spend your money? Who's your insurance? All right, if you have State Farm or you have Allstate, okay, well, they're not really going to be anyone that you could recruit, because they're somebody that they can't offer other products. But they could sure get your Legal Shield or ID Shield service from you. You're giving them $300 to $400 a month. And once again, it's out of courtesy. I just need 17 minutes to go over what I do. I know what you do because I pay you every month, but I just need you to know what I do for this. And get them information, because they may say, you know what, because you're a client, we'll put your brochures in our lobby. We'll put your brochures here. Or they may say, we have a couple of employees, why don't you come in? I usually say, well, let me bring in some pizza or, something during the summer and go over the information with your employees. Who's your dentist? Okay, so dentists are good. They're small. They're usually independent. They're not usually connected to any kind of hospital, which brings me to a doctor's office. Of course, we're seeing more and more doctor's offices going away from the hospitals and opening up their own practices. Where do you get your car fixed? Right? Where do you do your, that's how I got Mazda of Lakewood. I was there getting my oil changed, and I got the owner's name from the guy in the service department. I was sitting in the lobby. I made a phone call. I said, I need to talk to Mel, and they go, okay. So they give me to Mel, and I say, hey, Mel, I'm in the waiting area, and I bought my car from you, and I'm interested in giving you some information about what I do. When would be a good time? And he goes, well, I'm in my office right now. Why don't you just come over and tell me? So I did, and it was fun, and they became a group, and they later got a small business plan. So where do you get your car fixed? Who's your financial planner? Now, again, a financial planner may be like an insurance agent. They may not be able to offer other products, but my financial planner is with Edward Jones. Now, he's not able to offer Legal Shield to his clients, but he has referred me to several clients that don't have a will. So he got the plan, and then he sends me to several of his clients because they don't have a will. They can save money. The money they save, they can put into financial planning with them. All right, sporting events with your children or your hobby, we kind of went over that. Where do you do your banking? What credit union do you use, or what credit union is in your neighborhood? So think of other things about how you spend your money. Tonight, go to your checking account and look at online and look at every place that you spent money, or look through your, now if you have Walmart, okay, we're not going to call Walmart, we're not going to deal with Target, we're not going to do all those big companies, but find out what are the other companies, where else are you spending your money. And then we encourage everybody to get involved in networking, because net works. So you want to focus on your target, and once again, when you go networking, it's quality, not quantity, which I really had to learn that, because when I first went networking, I was like, I got to see how many cards I can get. I got all these cards. I got back to my desk, and I'm like, I don't really know about this card. So it's about quality. You know, before I go into a networking event, I sit in my car and I tell myself, all right, my goal, 3 or 4 new people, 3 or 4 business owners, 3 or 4 people to get me into groups, right, for that. So who do I want to meet? Chambers have leads groups. There's also BNI. You can go to Google. You can put in the date, the city. I mean, there's just endless. In Denver, you could go to a networking event for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Really, you could every day of the week for that. We also have professional organizations like SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management. We have employee benefit associations. Just go to associations.com. There's an association for associations. So find out different associations, and that may be, once again, somewhere where you take your hobby and you go to that association, and it would be fun. Also, I would recommend that you look at professional magazines, that you start getting employee benefit news, and you start getting all those types of information, more for language that you can be using. So, and we also want to be able to create your 30 to 60 second introduction. All right, so let me see what time it is. Okay, all right. So what we want to do here is, most of you have probably seen this website, but okay. Why did that happen? Please move this window. Okay, does everybody, oh, you can't tell me. You're not seeing that. All right. Well, I wanted you to see connect.legalshield.com/EDS. EDS, Express Download Site. Now, you don't put a www in front of that because you won't go to it. It's just HTTP, and then, or just put connect.legalshield.com EDS. The second one is legalshieldforsuccess.com. Okay. Okay, I unmuted you all. Can you see, can you see the website right now? It says, welcome to Legal Shield Express download site.
No.
Nope.
Oh, why is this doing this?
I just went to in a different screen.
Oh, okay, good. It is pause screen sharing. Okay, never had that before. I don't know. Usually whatever is on my computer, move this window, I don't know. Okay. So, oops. Oh, we don't want that. Where did that come from? Okay. When you go to the Express download site, it can be a little overwhelming because I mean, it's a great thing. However, they're putting everything there. But there are categories. So we have the sales presentations. We have identity theft. We have the white papers, the product videos, the legal plans, identity theft plans, CDLP. We have the forms, my group account, which is a new thing. Then an overall of all products, which in that one is where you want to find where it says overview of all products. It's on the third column. It's the last column. And one of the things that you really want to know about there is the Membership Quick Start Guide. Membership Quick Start Guide. That's going to take you to a PDF. That PDF is that you want to put that first. Number one, you can customize it, so you can put your information on there at the bottom, save it. You put the law firm's information at the bottom, save it, and then this is what I put in my temporary membership kit. Now, I used to write my own little letter for the temporary membership kit. I don't do that anymore. I put the Membership Quick Guide in there, and it's very easy during an enrollment because then you whip that out and you say, okay, This is your go to mylegalshield.com. Once you go to mylegalshield.com, I circle it, I draw a line up to the next thing, which is my app, then download your app, because then everything will match, everything will connect for that. So that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure that everybody knows about that. And then, of course, we also have the recruiting materials for that. Okay, and then LegalShieldForSuccess.com. So you can go there and make a one-page enrollment flyer that is customized to that employer. Okay, I'm going to try something here. Okay, you see that, right? Oh, no, you don't see that either. Weird. Okay. Okay, so when you go there, so it's called enrollment folder or enrollment sheet, and, well, I can go there, but you can't see that. So it's Legal Shield, the number 4, success. Move the window away from the shared applications. I don't know what that means. All right, so you go to print on demand, you go to group and broker materials. It says non-group interactive flyer. That's not the one that you want. So you go to the next page, you go to the next page, and it's called group interactive flyer. So you click on that, and then you can go, it says order.customize, you customize it. It's going to pop up a window where you can put in all of your information. So you can put in your information about your company name. You can put in a logo. So if you have the logo for the company, first you download that before you go to LegalShieldForSuccess.com. Then you can upload the logo, and then you go in and you put in, is it for pay period, per month, per 24, 26. They go in, do they want the family plan? Do they want the family individual? So you can customize it to your employer. It's a one-page, very easy, very simple to use for your enrollment. And we'll go through that more, too, when we go through the enrollment process. But I wanted you to know about, make sure that everybody, because last weekend at Super Saturday, there was somebody that did not know about, that's been in the business for a long time, did not know about the membership quick start guide. And it's so great that we all need to know that, which is under connectlegalshield.com EDS for that. Okay, so now we are at 8:08. All right, I'm going to unmute. Okay, there you are. All right, does anybody have any questions or comments?
I do, Cheryl.
Okay, who is this?
When I click on it, it says there's too many redirects, and that's what it's been telling me for quite a while, so I thought it wasn't anymore.
What are you clicking on? I don't know what you're clicking on. You said
But you were
clicking on
interactive forms.
Okay, so are you using Explorer or the what's it called?
I'm using Google.
Okay, you probably have to clear out your cache or whatever that's called.
Something. Okay.
And
I thought they told us it wasn't available anymore, so I'll figure that out. Thank you.
Yeah, just give them a call directly to that. Okay, anybody else have any questions?
Hi, Cheryl. Could you give the connect.legalshield.com address again?
Yes, so there's no, you don't put a no www, so it's
right.
HTTP, I think that's how it goes. Let me see. Let me go there. Almost fine. Oh, 2 lines. Okay. Yeah. Do you see it on the screen? Or
I'm actually just on the phone, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you just go into your whatever browser you use and put, don't put www, just put connect.legalshield.com /EDS, E for Express, C for download, S for site. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else? Okay. So next week, oh, go ahead.
What are the 3 different pieces of paper you were talking about? My computer decided to upload or to, install new software right in the middle of the conversation.
Well, we were talking about making 3 categories, 3 lists of company sizes, 10 to 50, 50 to 100, and 100 plus.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah. And so then as you start brainstorming, you're in your community, you start, just put them in one of those categories. Because we're going to focus on the 10, we want to focus on the 10 to 50 first.
Right.
You don't want to, yeah, okay. So next week we have our camp session will be with Doris. She will be talking about inviting to the B2B events and also small business tips. Remember to bring your success stories because we want to hear about how you've used these tips that we've had in this, so we can learn from each other. And just an overview in the next week for B2B events. Tuesday in Denver, we have Ross Centrell. He will be doing a B2B recruiting. He has a sales background, management background, and he's going to be doing our 6 p.m. B2B recruiting. And then at 7:30, he'll do the business opportunity meeting at 7:30. So you get 2 for 1 in Denver. Invite as many guests as you want to both of them. You just have to pay for one time for you to come. And then make sure that we all get registered for the law firm open house, which is next Thursday. You need to do that by Monday because they have a process and a cutoff date for RSVPs. So make sure that you call Associate Services and get registered for the law firm open house. And then Saturday the 25th, we have the B2B certification class. So many of you that are on the call today, you've already been through the certification class. But if you have people on your team that want to go, or you can go through it again, that'd be fabulous. If you have other people that are on your team, make sure that they know there's 8 hours of prerequisites that are required before they register for the class. So what happens is people go, okay, I put that on my calendar. It's Saturday the 25th. They call into corporate on Thursday to register. Oh, you haven't done any of your prerequisites. Now they're doing, 8 hours of, it's kind of like studying before the exam the next day, right? So they're trying to go through 8 hours of curriculum, and then they don't get registered. And then Mindy doesn't know that, hey, they finished all their prerequisites on Saturday at 6 o'clock. So if you have somebody that wants to go to the class, let Mindy know, Mindy Rogers, let her know so that she's keeping a list of people so that she can check in with them to see where they are, if they have any questions on the prerequisites to get that done. So it's really important with that new process that once they need to know that, and it takes about 8 hours, and that we can help them be successful in getting that completed before they go to the class. Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for being on the Camp Business Solutions webinar this morning, and we will see all of you next Thursday for session 2, which again will be inviting to B2B events and small business tips. Thanks for being on the webinar. Have a great week.